We're going to look at symbolism and imagery and why they're important in literature. Let's look at the difference between symbolism and imagery. Symbolism is like the Polynesian sauce packet itself. It stands for something bigger. The sauce packet isn't just a wrapper. It represents flavor, choice, and even the whole dining experience. Imagery is like the taste of the sauce, the sweet and tangy flavor you can actually sense. Imagery uses descriptive language that appeals to the five senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste, to make the reader experience the moment. First, let's look a little deeper at symbolism. We're all used to seeing symbols around us each day, even if we don't realize they are symbols. These objects below represent something more than what they are on surface. A heart isn't just a heart. It symbolizes love. The skull and crossbones symbolizes danger. A cross is not just a cross. It might symbolize Christianity or faith. In literature, the symbols might not be as clear. You might have to think a little deeper. For example, rain might symbolize cleansing. The color white might symbolize innocence and purity. So let's look at some real examples of symbolism in literature. Remember, oftentimes you have to think deeply about what certain things could symbolize. In the Odyssey by Homer, Odysseus's bow symbolizes his rightful place as king and husband, since only he can string it. The sea symbolizes both danger and the long struggle of life's journey. In Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, the rabbits symbolize Lenny's dream of a better life and safety. Candy's dog symbolizes how society discards those who are old or disabled. These things might not be objects that immediately represent something more than what they are, but in the context of a story, you can make those connections. Now, we briefly discussed imagery a bit ago in this video, but let's look at it again. Imagery is when the author uses descriptive language that allows the reader to see, hear, feel, taste, or touch what is going on in the story. This makes the writing come alive. Let's look at some examples that aren't from literature. First, a sight example is: the sunset painted the sky in fiery oranges and soft purples. Second, a sound example is: the branches cracked like a walnut splitting in two under his feet. Third, a smell example is: the sharp scent of fresh paint filled the room. Fourth, a taste example is: the sweet, tangy juice of the orange dripped down her chin. Finally, a touch example is: the rough bark scratched her palm as she climbed the tree. Notice how in each of these examples, the imagery used makes you feel present and able to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch what is being written. So now let's look at some real examples of imagery from literature. In To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, the author writes, "People moved slowly then. There was no hurry, for there was nowhere to go, nothing to buy, and no money to buy it with." This imagery shows the slow pace of life in Maycomb. In Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, Shakespeare writes, "It seems she hangs upon the cheek of nights as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear." Juliet's beauty is described with visual imagery, making us imagine her glowing in the dark. Imagery allows us to experience what the characters are experiencing in the story. Let's recap. Imagery is when authors use words that appeal to your senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. So you can see, hear, feel, smell, or taste the world of the story in your imagination. Symbolism is when authors use an object, image, or event to stand for a bigger idea, like a mockingbird represents innocence or a road represents life's journey. Together, imagery makes the story feel real, and symbolism makes the story feel deeper. So, think of imagery and symbolism in light of our food metaphor with Polynesian sauce. Imagery is the flavor and texture you actually taste. Symbolism is the hidden meaning behind the recipe. Both make literature richer and more powerful, just like Polynesian sauce takes plain nuggets and makes them unforgettable.